The untold story of the Mongol Empire. Did you know that the Mongol Empire killed so many people in its invasions that it actually cooled down the earth? Scientists, like those at the Carnegie Institution for Science, found that the massive drop in human population led to forests growing back, which sucked up carbon dioxide from the air and made the planet a little colder. This is a story about how one group of people changed the world forever, not just with their swords, but with their sheer numbers and lasting impact. We're going to look at the hidden truths of the Mongol Empire, a story far bigger and stranger than you might think. Imagine a world where riding horses was everything. This was the world of the Mongols, tough people from the wide, open plains of Central Asia. For hundreds of years, they lived in small groups, sometimes fighting each other. Life was hard. They moved around a lot, following their herds of animals, always looking for good grass and water. They were amazing riders and archers, able to shoot arrows perfectly even when galloping fast. This skill would soon change history. Before they became a mighty empire, the Mongols were not united. They were many tribes, often at war with one another. Think of them like different teams in a big, harsh game, always trying to get ahead. One young boy, named Temujin, was born into this tough world. His early life was full of hardship and danger, as explained in historical accounts like those shared by the Cambridge University Press. His father was killed when Temujin was young, and his family was left alone, struggling to survive. He had to hunt, fish, and hide from enemies. These hard times taught him to be strong, smart, and never give up. Temujin slowly started to bring the Mongol tribes together. It wasn't easy. He had to fight many battles, make clever plans, and show great courage. He was very good at inspiring people and making them believe in him. He made new rules, like promoting people based on how good they were, not just who their family was. This was a big deal and helped him build a loyal army. By 1206, after many years of fighting and planning, all the Mongol tribes agreed to follow him. They gave him a new name, Genghis Khan, which means universal ruler. This moment, documented by historians like Jack Weatherford in his work on Mongol history, marked the true beginning of something massive. Genghis Khan wasn't just a great fighter. He was a brilliant leader and a master planner. He created a super-fast army that moved like the wind. His soldiers were expert horsemen who could travel huge distances without stopping. They used clever tactics, like pretending to run away to trick their enemies, then turning around and attacking when their foes were unprepared. They also used spies to learn about their enemies and engineers to build war machines to break down city walls. This blend of speed, smarts, and surprise made them nearly unbeatable. A report in the Journal of World History highlights how revolutionary their military strategies were for the time. The Mongol Empire started to grow, first taking over nearby lands. Then, they looked further. They attacked the powerful Jin dynasty in China, a huge and rich empire. People thought the Jin army was too strong, but the Mongols proved them wrong. They used their speed and brutal tactics to defeat the Jin forces, even taking their capital city. This was just the start. After China, they moved west, towards Central Asia and Persia. Imagine a wave of horsemen sweeping across entire continents. That's what it felt like. The Mongols had a reputation for being incredibly fierce. If a city resisted them, they would often destroy it completely and kill almost everyone. This was a tactic to scare other cities into giving up without a fight. Many cities chose to surrender rather than face their wrath. However, if a city surrendered peacefully, the Mongols were often fair and sometimes even allowed people to keep their religions and ways of life. If noted in studies from the University of Chicago Press. This dual nature, extreme brutality and surprising tolerance, is one of the most complex parts of their story. They were not just destroyers, they were also builders in a strange way. After Genghis Khan died in 1227, his sons and grandsons continued his mission. The empire kept growing bigger and bigger. His son Ogedi Khan built a proper capital city called Karakoram. It was a place where different cultures met, where people from all over the vast empire came to trade, learn, or live. Imagine a city in the middle of nowhere becoming a global hub. This new capital showed that the Mongols were not just nomads. They were trying to build a lasting kingdom. Historical findings from archaeological digs in Mongolia, often cited by the Smithsonian, confirm the rich cultural mix found in Karakoram. One of Genghis's most famous grandsons was Kublai Khan. He focused on conquering all of China, which he finally did, establishing the Yuan dynasty. He was a different kind of leader, more interested in ruling and building than just conquering. He welcomed foreigners, like Marco Polo, who wrote famous stories about his time in China. Kublai improved roads, canals, and cities. He even tried to invade Japan twice. Though powerful storms, though divine winds, as the Japanese called them, sank his fleets both times. This ambition to expand across the sea showed the reach of Mongol power, as detailed in naval history archives. The Mongol Empire, at its largest, was truly massive. It stretched from Eastern Europe all the way to Korea, and from Siberia down to India. It was the largest land empire in history, connecting places that had never been connected before. This vast empire brought cultures together, leading to a period known as the Pax Mongolica, or Mongol Peace. During this time, trade routes like the Silk Road became safe and very busy. Goods, ideas, and technologies traveled freely across continents. According to economic historians like those at the London School of Economics, this boosted global trade and exchange significantly. Think about it. Spices from India, silk from China, inventions like gunpowder and printing from Asia, all traveled to Europe because of the Mongols. They also allowed different religions to exist side by side. Christians, Muslims, Buddhists, and others lived and worked within the empire. This was quite unusual for the time, when many rulers tried to force everyone to follow one religion. The Mongols, in their own way, promoted a kind of global understanding, even if it came after terrible wars. However, an empire so huge was hard to keep together. After a while, it started to break into smaller parts, called khanates. These parts were still ruled by Genghis Khan's family, but they often fought with each other. The Golden Horde ruled Russia and Eastern Europe, the Ilkhanate ruled Persia, the Chagatai Khanate ruled Central Asia, and the Yuan dynasty ruled China. Each of these parts developed its own culture and way of life, slowly drifting apart from the original Mongol identity. This fragmentation is a key point in studies of empire decline, as explored in academic journals like Past Present. The reasons for the empire's split were many. Communication across such huge distances was tough. Different parts had different climates and resources, leading to different ways of living. The leaders of each khanate sometimes cared more about their own power than about the big empire. Also, as the Mongols settled in different lands, they started to adopt the cultures of the people they conquered. In China, they became more Chinese. In Persia, they became more Persian. They lost some of their original nomadic Mongol ways. Eventually, each of the khanates fell. The Yuan dynasty in China was overthrown by the Ming dynasty, a native Chinese rule, in 1368. The Ilkhanate in Persia broke apart into smaller kingdoms. The Golden Horde slowly lost its power in Eastern Europe over the next century and a half. By the late 1400s, the Great Mongol Empire, as a single, unified force, was gone. But its impact was not. Its legacy continued to shape the world in profound ways. For instance, the very idea of a unified China was strengthened by the Mongol rule, as noted by historical experts at Oxford University. The untold story of the Mongol Empire is not just about war and destruction. It's about how one group of people, starting from nothing, built the largest empire the world has ever seen. It's about how they accidentally cooled the planet, spread ideas and goods across continents, and changed the course of history forever. They connected the East and the West, paving the way for a more globalized world, centuries before anyone used that word. They forced cultures to mix, bringing about new inventions, new ways of thinking, and a deeper understanding of our shared human story. Their empire may have broken apart, but the trails they blazed, the connections they forged, but the lessons they left behind continue to echo through time, shaping the world we live in today. It's a powerful reminder that even the most feared forces can bring about unexpected changes for good and for ill, leaving a legacy that is both complex and undeniable.